There was once a mighty kingdom surrounded by forests so vast and ancient that even the king himself did not know all that lay within them. The trees stretched high into the heavens, their roots twisting deep into the earth like the fingers of giants, and within their shadows lurked secrets older than time itself. The hunters of the land, skilled and fearless, ventured into the woods daily, bringing back game for the royal feasts. But something strange had begun to happen. One by one the hunters vanished. No sign of them was ever found. No broken arrows, no abandoned boots, not even a scrap of cloth. It was as though the forest itself had swallowed them whole. The king, troubled by these disappearances, sent his best men to search for answers. But those who entered did not return, and fear spread through the kingdom like wildfire. The villagers whispered of an unseen terror, a spirit, a beast, or something far worse. Finally, a bold huntsman, older than most but with the eyes of a hawk and the heart of a lion, swore to uncover the truth. With his loyal hound at his side, he strode into the depths of the forest, following trails no man had dared to tread before. For hours he moved in silence, his bow at the ready, his ears keen to every sound. And then, a growl rumbled from beneath his feet. Before he could react, a massive hairy hand shot up from the earth, seized his hound by the throat and dragged it underground in an instant. The huntsman, though brave, felt the cold grip of terror. He turned and ran, his breath coming fast, his heart pounding like a drum. He burst into the royal hall, gasping out his tale to the king. At once, the monarch ordered his guards to ride out and dig at the cursed place where the hound had vanished. For 3 days they worked, and at last they unearthed a sight that none had ever seen before. A man, yet not a man, covered head to toe in iron-colored hair, his eyes burning with something ancient and unknowable. Shackled by chains, he was hauled to the castle, where he was locked inside a heavy iron cage, placed on display in the courtyard like some captured beast. The people gathered, whispering and staring. Some pitied him, others feared him. Who was he? A cursed man? A demon? Or something more? They called him Iron Hans. Now the king had a young son, a boy of restless spirit and boundless curiosity. Though he had been warned to stay away from the wild man, he could not help himself. Every day he watched Iron Hans from afar, fascinated by the way he sat in silence as though waiting for something unseen. One afternoon, as the boy played in the courtyard, his favorite golden ball slipped from his fingers and rolled straight into the iron cage. He ran to the bars, peering inside. "Iron Hans," he called, "throw my ball back." The wild man lifted his head, his piercing eyes meeting the boy's. A slow, knowing smile spread across his face. "I will," he rumbled, his voice like the distant echo of thunder. "But only if you unlock this cage." The boy hesitated. He had been told never to release the prisoner. But he was young and curiosity burned within him. That night, when the guards were gone, he stole the key from his father's chambers and crept to the courtyard. With trembling hands he turned the key in the lock. The cage door swung open. Before the boy could react, Iron Hans stepped free, stretching his great limbs as though shaking off centuries of sleep. "You have done well," he said, his deep voice laced with something unreadable. "Now you must come with me." The prince's heart pounded. "But Iron Hans seized him before he could run, hoisting him onto his shoulders like a sack of grain. With unnatural speed he fled the castle grounds, vanishing into the dark embrace of the forbidden woods. Far from the world the boy had known, deep within the heart of the wild, Iron Hans set him down. They had entered a hidden kingdom untouched by time. Rivers flowed golden as the morning sun. The air shimmered with a strange magic, and creatures unseen in the world of men watched from the shadows. "You are no longer a prince," Iron Hans told him. "Here you must prove yourself." For the first time in his life, The boy had no servants, no luxuries, no golden plates filled with fine foods. He was given simple tasks: to fetch water, to gather wood, to tend to the wild beasts that roamed the land. But one task was most important of all. "You must guard this well," Iron Hans told him. "Its waters run with pure gold. Touch nothing or you will suffer for it." The boy nodded, but temptation was a serpent in his heart. The first day he merely dipped his fingertip into the golden waters. When he withdrew it, his finger gleamed with gold. He hid it beneath his sleeve. The second day he submerged his whole hand. By the third, unable to resist, he plunged both hands into the shimmering depths. Iron Hans saw everything. "You have failed," the wild man said, sorrow in his voice. "You are not yet ready." With a single wave of his mighty hand, he sent the boy away, stripping him of his fine clothes and sending him into the world, disguised as a beggar. In time, the prince found his way to a great city, where he took work as a lowly gardener's boy in the king's palace. He kept his hands hidden beneath gloves, ashamed of the golden secret they bore. Then came the great tournament. Warriors from across the land gathered to win the hand of the king's daughter, a princess as clever as she was beautiful. The boy, longing for a chance to prove himself, despaired. How could he fight with nothing? Then from the shadows a familiar voice whispered, "Are you ready?" Iron Hans had not abandoned him. With a mighty steed and gleaming armor, he transformed the boy into a warrior. 3 times he entered the tournament, each time in different armor, red, then white, then black, each time defeating all challengers before vanishing into the night. But the princess was no fool. She had seen the golden hands beneath his gloves. When the king called all knights to a final feast, the princess stepped forward and removed his gloves for all to see. Gasps filled the hall. Then Iron Hans himself appeared before them, no longer the wild man of the forest but a mighty king, one who had long been under a curse. "The spell is broken," he said, placing a great fortune before the boy. "And you, young prince, have proven yourself worthy." And so the lost prince was lost no more. He took his place as heir to the throne, and the princess, having seen his true heart, chose him for her own. Yet even after he became king, sometimes on quiet nights he would ride into the forest, where an old voice whispered in the wind, "Curiosity may lead you astray, but courage will bring you home.